so happy, my hair so nappy, had an afro.
Big up to everybody. Brr, brr, brr. Season starting, guys. That's it. We're on our way. It's where are we? What are we? 72 hours to kick off. And this is it. This is what we've all been waiting for. Big up to everybody. Big up to Vincey. Big up to Gary. Big up to Ebony. First of all, let's start with Vincey. How are you, Vincey? We're gonna get straight to it. How you been, bro?
I'm good, man. It's I couldn't miss tonight. I appreciate the celebration that we're all here to the 7 years of Apollo's birth online with one-on-one, and to be here with the family. It's been a great journey. So it's one that I couldn't miss. I'm just pleased to be here and have life to be able to enjoy this experience.
And how are you, Gary? You're enjoying your newfound internet speed when there was nothing actually wrong with the internet speed, or there was nothing wrong with the laptop. It was just
tell me about it. Because for the bitch, he obviously doesn't know the story. I never don't know the story. So obviously I was having problems connecting, and I was literally getting wound up in the chat by Garfield mainly, telling me I still had dial-up connection. So I went and bought new laptop, 3 new routers all around my house, connected hardwire straight into the new laptop. Still nothing. Then my son said, "Why don't you try on my tablet, Dad?" Put it on the tablet, and lo and behold, straight away, it was just crystal clear. I can't believe it. I went and bought new laptop, everything, for no reason at all.
That makes sense.
What's
wrong with the laptop? Is it what, an old connection?
No, I have no idea. The only thing I can figure out, he connected this through Facebook. I was connecting through YouTube, so I don't know whether that was making the difference. So one day I'm going to try it on Facebook through the laptop and see what happens. But I've got the tablet to back it up.
Take it back, man.
Yeah,
Take it back.
Yeah. And Gary, so how's everything apart from your fishing and all of that? How's everything with you, bro?
Yeah, things are all right, man. Things are all right. The kids are surviving the summer holidays.
Yeah, I'll tell you about it. But, hey, listen, I'm off work tomorrow. 2 weeks ago, I did the 2 little grandkids, my 8 and 9-year-olds. I took them to Chessington Zoo. We had a lovely day. And tomorrow, I'm taking the 13 and 16-year-old out. So we're going to Thorpe Park. So I'm taking a day off, and I'm going to do that with that. So that's my day tomorrow. Ebony, how have you been? It is fantastic. It's wonderful to see you. Is Ebony on mute, or is she frozen? Ah, there she is.
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Yes. I'm very well, thank you very much. Glad to be back.
Excellent.
Glad to be back. We've missed you. Fresh new season. Yeah. I'm going to be more regular now that I've gotten rid of Sky, and now I've gotten rid of Sky, and I'm able to, you know. Let me not say too much, but yeah, I'm able to watch more matches.
Good, excellent. So, guys, let's not let's not waste any time. Let's get straight into it. Let's pull this up. We're going to get into our predictions for the first 10 games this season. So before I do that, let's look at last season and compare what we did then at that point. Obviously, we know Arsenal's got the Premier League record for the first half of the season. 17 games, 15 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. We went on to have a cracking season then, but lack of squad meant that we ran out of gas and lost the title to Man City. So what does this look like right now? So let me share this screen. So this is what we look at. This was last season, guys. You can see here, Wolves was a 2-0 win, Aston Villa 2-0 win. So we started the season off with 2 wins, which was good. A draw at Brighton. That's when Declan Rice got the red card, remember, guys? For kicking the ball away after the foul. Just ridiculous decision, and we ended up not winning that game because of that. We won against Tottenham, 1-0. Then it was a draw, Man City. We had a red card in that as well, didn't we? We had a sending off against City. That's
red
correct.
card,
Yes, because I
Trossard.
remember we was actually winning 2-1, right?
Yeah.
Yep, and we lost it in the last minute of the game. So 2 points dropped at Brighton for red card, points dropped at City for a red card, and then we beat Leicester 4-2, beat Southampton 3-1, lost to Bournemouth. Was there a red card in the Bournemouth? What happened in the Bournemouth game?
No, that was Ramsdale's mistake, was it not?
No, I'm sure we got a red card, and then it just capitulated. I'm sure of it.
Was it Saliba?
Yes. On the one where he headed it, and they said it was Saliba sent off. Correct, right? So that's another 3 points. So that's 7 points dropped through red cards from referee decisions. And then it was a draw at Liverpool. That was the game that we were also winning 2-1. I don't believe there was a red card in that game. Although I could be wrong.
No, that was a home game. I was there. I was at that one.
Yeah, they scored in the 94th minute, I believe it was. So again, 2 points dropped. So that's 9 points dropped, and then we lost away to Newcastle. You guys are going to have to remind me if there was any controversy in that game. There normally is. So
wasn't that the Joe Willock ball over the line incident?
No, not that one.
Yes, I'm sure.
Was it the Joe Willock one?
I'm sure.
No, that was I think they won that one fair and square. It was the season before.
Are you sure? So this wasn't the one where Joe Linton elbowed Jorginho and got away with it?
No, that was Guimaraes, weren't it? Who elbowed Jorginho?
Yeah, that's the one.
And got away with it.
He got away with it, yep. So essentially, guys, we had 17 out of a possible 30 points, which was riddled with referee decisions and VAR dumbfoolery, as I would say. I have to think up a word there to use for that one. So let's really talk about our decisions for what we're thinking of in this season, because that's why we're here. Shall I take the comments off the screen? I don't really want to take all the comments off because the guys in there in the chat are busy as usual. Shout out to Garfield. Garfield saying Mark Goldbridge is tomorrow after the press conference. It says, come on, Man United, let's hear your tactics. In fact, Man United's the first game, and 3 of us went for draws, and the rest of us went for a win. Cam said, Ebony is back, baby. So is Vincey. Emerson, shout out to you. Big shout out to Emerson. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're recovering well as well. 18 says, my Nubian queen, Ebony. Garfield saying, tears on Sunday. Listen, Garfield, if you want to come in for the watch along as a Man United fan, we can do that. I've got no problems. It's really a toss up in it. We never play United well. I don't know what it is. United could be as crap as anything. Everyone and their dog is beating them. And as soon as they play Arsenal, it's a draw or something like that. We struggle with them. I don't know what it is. Cam saying,
I think that there, Apollo. I think if you look back at the games against United last season, the 3 times we played them, we missed a whole heap of chances to kill them dead. This time we've got Mr. Victor Gyökeres, who ain't going to miss them type of chances.
Yeah, Gyökeres. I remember Havertz having 6 close shots from close range and not scoring a single one of those goals. I mean, you bet your money if you give Gyökeres 6 chances in the box, he's going to bag them, isn't he?
Yeah, well, he's going to bag. I don't know if he's going to get all 6, but he's going to get at least 2 or 3. Yeah. I would imagine. Exactly.
Yeah, Socials. Big shout out to you, Socials. Yeah, and he's saying it was a season before. So, yeah, I think maybe they beat us fair and square. We'll have to look and see. Also, Socials, let me know, and Cam and everyone, let me know what you think our totals of points is going to be after 27 games. So let's go to Vincey first. So, Vincey, we've got your figures down here. I might have to take the show chat off so that you can see it clearly. So Vincey's gone for... Actually, Vincey, you talk us through it. You talk us through it and your decisions why.
Yeah, I mean, I'm nervous right now with this team. I'm nervous with facing United away. they've done some good business, and I know a lot of Arsenal fans say that United don't have a defence, but when they play us, they know how to put a shift in, and they've got. If you watched any of the United games this pre-season, they're moving the ball like how we want Arsenal to move the ball in attack. It's one touch, it's fast, and it can cause us problems. So that's not going to be an easy game. I'm going to be generous and put a point up there, but my heart actually wants to take a point away and say we're going to lose. That's how concerning it is for me, and that's understandable because we've got loads of changes. It's going to take. We can't expect this team to hit the ground running, even though we want them to. So there are going to be some hiccups, especially in these first 10 games. So I'll stick with one, a draw. Obviously, Leeds is going to be a good home game to kick off. And I'm actually fancying Gyökeres to have a good Premier League derby and get on the score sheet. So that's why I'm going for 3 on that one. Again, it's a tricky start. Obviously, we've got Liverpool in third. And Anfield, a point at best. That could quite easily be a loss. I mean, I just heard today, just before I came on, that is it Roma? No, Real Madrid are interested in taking the Konate. So there's going to be some movements in that Liverpool defense, and there's a good chance. I think even Frimpong might be injured.
Yeah, and he's played well for them in pre-season as well.
Yeah, he played well, scored, but there could be an injury there. So I'm not sure. It could be a good opportunity to play Liverpool, but again, at home, any home game for Liverpool this season, it's going to be emotional. They're going to put a shift in. Remember, they're playing on Jota's memory, so we can't just take things for granted. And I think the good news is, also, I checked before coming online, it looks like Isak is going to be staying. That's what Lawrence was saying on ESPN. So that's going to be a good thing if they don't get hold of Isak. Forest is going to be a tough one, but I think we'll be able to get over the line. Man City. I put 3 down. They're the dark horse for me right now.
Them and Chelsea.
They are the dark horse right now because they've got some attackers that I've got to put a shift in this year. They've got rid of Grealish. They've got mobile players. Haaland looks healthy. I think they're going to seriously miss De Bruyne. I think they're going to miss him big time. But that Reinders, I'm telling you right now, that Reinders, if Pep plays Reinders, that guy is going to cause problems. The guy runs deep. He knows where the goal is. Sneaky little purchase getting hold of him. So tough one for me, but I'll stick with the 3 points because we need to. I think if for us to have any chance of being in the position to win the league, I'm not saying to win the league, be in the position, we got to take maximum points of teams like Man City. So the next one I got up there, Newcastle away. It's as bad as Anfield, isn't it?
Actually, I think it's worse because when you look at the last 3 seasons, City and Liverpool have not beaten us. And in any respect, we've outplayed them. In every game we've played them over the last 3 years, in 6 games. We're unbeaten against them in 6 overall games. Even when we weren't at our best with no strikers, both teams failed to beat us. We were beating both teams, and both of them came back in the last minute of the game to earn a point. Otherwise, we would have had 4 points off them if we could have held on, or if we had a striker. So really, everyone's kind of looking at Liverpool thinking we're going to drop points there. But with a striker, with our form and the way we play, we should go there and beat them. We should.
We should. I'm going to leave it at get a draw at Newcastle. West Ham at home. Yeah, 3 points. Fulham away, 3
Banana
points.
split that one.
Yeah.
Always Fulham and West Ham at home, always a struggle.
Yeah, but we're gonna. I think by then we were hoping we're gonna have a little bit more chemistry, and it'd be nice at this stage not having any red cards. You know,
Yeah.
we don't know how the refs are gonna play, and
well, judging by the old Community Shield decision not to award Palace a penalty for the clear handball
yeah,
from McAllister.
yeah,
I
and it's
think it's
always the
going to be
case early on the
frustrating.
season. The refs' decisions, you're holding your hands up. It's like, what's going on? What you expect to happen doesn't happen. So, but I do think we're going to hit a purple patch, not a purple patch, a worrying patch in those 9th and 10th game. That's why I went for draws.
Yeah. So 20 points is realistic. It's slightly more than what we got last year, and takes into consideration intangibles, which nobody else has put on this list. Only Vincey's gone with the intangibles, which is actually more realistic than anything. My conversation with Tony's in Peru with his wife. Tony, I hope you're watching, and once again, congratulations. Hope you're doing well. I could imagine the look on Tony's wife's face when he was putting in the figures to send to me just before the stream started. I think overall, it really is going to come down to referee decisions, because I don't think injuries and all that would even hurt us. We're too deep at every position. So in terms of squad strength, and we don't even have Eze in yet, whether that will happen or not is another thing. I think somebody's asked me 2 questions before I go to Gary. 18 says, Eze update, please, Apollo. Eze, Arsenal are only looking to bid on him after tomorrow, which is when the release clause actually ends. I think it's common knowledge that Arsenal are trying to sort of shoehorn this money in, really wanting to see. They've given the options for players who want to leave. The closest at the moment is Zinchenko. Trossard is indicating that he is thinking about I think he said on Saturday maybe the time where he's going to give a decision to Arteta. But by all accounts, it looks like Trossard probably will be staying. And that's going to sort of go a long way into what we do on the left, maybe what we do with Eze, I'm not sure. But I do know that Fulham came in for Trossard and he didn't want to go there. So, Fulham want everybody. They want Nelson, they want Zinchenko. So really, it's down to Trossard to make the decision. The other thing is Zinchenko. It looks like he is going to be leaving. He wants to leave. He's trying to look for a new team. So he could be going anywhere from Fulham to Fenerbahce to AC Milan. Various places. What was the second question? I believe there was another question. Any news on any new rules? Yeah, there's a few new rules. I've tightened up on a couple of handball rules and stuff, but the biggest and main one is the goalkeepers used to have a 6-second rule to touch the ball, and it was never really called. It was a little bit like the time wasting for throw-ins. It never really was enforced, and when it was just a joke. And obviously, we know what happened with the Tomiyasu red card on the late throw-in and all that stuff, and it just got so stupid that they just got rid of it. I think this might go the same way. So it's not 6 seconds anymore; it's 8 seconds, and they've asked the referees to fully enforce it. So I think the message from the managers to the goalkeepers will be: don't play into the refs' hands. Don't give the refs a choice to make. Get rid of the ball quickly. And if they don't get rid of the ball, guys, it's a corner to the opposition team. So those are the new rules that I'm aware of, unless anybody has got anything else.
That just touching on that goalkeeper rule, obviously, it's 8 seconds from when the ball enters their gloves. So, say for instance, Raya was to make a save, diving save, the moment that ball is in his gloves, it's 8 seconds to disperse the ball, and obviously he can hold it for 7 seconds, drop it, and then the ball's in play. But if the ball's in his hands, 8 seconds from that's taking him time to get up, and then if he doesn't release it, it's a corner, and the corner can be taken from the nearest side to where he picks the ball up.
So, Ebony, why don't you go second? I'll mix it up a little bit. Go through your decisions of your games. Obviously, there was a late adjustment on Ebony's one. So, talk us through it game by game, Ebony.
All right. Man United is always tricky to go there and win. I think that I mean, being the first game, there will be a tad bit of nervousness there, especially since we've got some new players coming in. Do we expect them to hit the ground running? We'd like them to, but Man United is always tricky. So that's why I go for a point. Leeds, I expect to win. I don't expect anything less. I don't care who they've bought, if they have bought in anyone. I know every other team is strengthened in some capacity, but Leeds, I expect a win at home. Liverpool, yeah, that can be tricky. I mean, like, Anfield is never an easy place to go to, but I don't want the win to be a play. I don't want to play on the fact that of the unfortunate thing that happened to Jota. But I think that we need to play to their strengths as well. I mean, they're very defensive at home. They're very good at keeping the ball in their home ground, but I'm sure we can actually get something out of that. Nottingham Forest, I expect to win. Man City, that's at home. I mean, they'll come out all guns blazing. Yes, they've strengthened. Yes, they've gotten rid of Grealish, but I don't think that will make any difference to them. However, I think because it's home and because we like to think that the Emirates is a fortress, and yes, we do need to win games against teams like Man U, Man City, Man U, Liverpool. But at the end of the day, it's all the other smaller teams that we need to worry about as well, because they, especially the ones that have just come up, they would want to be still in the Premier League at the end of the season. So, but yeah, I'm trying to be optimistic about that. Newcastle, they always find a way to upset us. They did it in the past. I mean, we all remember that game where we were 4-0 up and then they came back to draw 4-4. But because Newcastle, again, and they managed to beat us last season. But I think, with our enforcement, and we've got a striker now. Hopefully Gyökeres is clinical. I don't know what's happening to Jesus, but Jesus was never clinical, in my opinion.
He started to get hot,
West
didn't
Ham,
he? And then it all went to pieces with
yeah,
his injury.
yeah. I mean, he's always injured. He's too injury prone, so that's possibly why we got Gyökeres. But we'll see. But West Ham, I expect to win. Fulham, I expect to win. Crystal Palace, I expect to win. Burnley, I definitely expect to win. I mean, I think all in all, I think all of these teams, especially the ones that have come up, they've all strengthened in some capacity. I mean, to be honest, I've not really looked at how they've strengthened, but you always tend to look at your main competitors of how they've strengthened and who they've gotten rid of and who they're keeping and who they're interested in buying. And me already, when it comes to Eze and all the rest of it, I don't believe that we've actually gotten anyone until I see it on Arsenal.com. So, I'm basing my predictions on the fact that yes, we've beaten by these teams. However, some of them anyway. But however, especially West Ham, we could have actually won that game, but we screwed up. So yeah, so I'm hoping that we actually. I mean, ideally, I want us to get 30 points, but it's not realistic. So I'm just hoping that with our enforcements, the fact that we've gotten rid of Tomiyasu, which I'm not happy about, but again, he's another injury-prone player, and I'm hoping that the what we have can actually keep the ball away from the net. I'm hoping that we can still play our pass and move game and not be too willy-nilly and not dawdle too much and not try to walk the ball into the net, because I found that last season there were some cases where we tried to walk the ball into the net, or we took too much time, or we weren't clinical enough, or certain players just didn't put in a shift. So on that basis, I've gone with 26 points after 10 games. And I'm just hoping that, the likes of Gyökeres and Zubimende and anyone else that, we're going to get can actually hit the ground running, because to finish second for the third time in a row, or to finish second for the fourth time in a row, is not good enough. And Arteta has been in charge for 5 years now. And we need a trophy. We need some silverware. And for me personally, he's got his team. He's got who he's wanted. However, he's got to start changing. He's got to change his tactics. So we'll see. But yeah, those are my predictions.
Yeah, as for Emerson, it's a good question here in terms of, would you put him back in academy until Jesus is back, or loan? I think I'd choose the academy. I think we've done it previously before with a few players, and I would definitely do that. I would definitely do that with him. So that's what I would do there. Let me run through Emerson's. Before we go to Gary, we're going to also leave Nabil, because Nabil should be joining us soon. So let me go through Emerson's. Emerson's has gone Arsenal win United, Arsenal win against Leeds, draw against Liverpool, draw against Forest, win against City at home, draw against Newcastle, win West Ham, Fulham, Palace and Burnley, all wins. Lewis has gone for Man United win. No, he hasn't. I'm only joking. He's gone for Arsenal win. Arsenal win against Leeds. So that's Man United, Leeds, Arsenal win. Another Liverpool draw. Nottingham Forest win. Draw against City. And then Newcastle, West Ham, Fulham, Crystal Palace, Burnley, all wins. Ebony's just had her say. Tony has gone for Man United will lose to Arsenal. Arsenal will beat Leeds as well. And draw against Liverpool. But he's saying Forest, City, Newcastle, West Ham, Fulham, Palace, and Burnley all wins. And in fact, Tony has our highest average score, which is a possible 28 out of 30 points. I'll do Cranky as well, and then I'll stop because Nabil's going to do his, and then I'll do Neomis's later on. Cranky, who had the highest last year, and actually, people say, people always give a little bit of stick, but he actually said that we were going to finish as high as we could have in regards to the points, and he's always really gone for us to finish the league in first place. So Cranky's gone for win United, win Leeds, draw Liverpool, win Forest, draw City, and then Newcastle, West Ham, Fulham, Palace, and Burnley all wins. So before I go to Gary, what I actually wanted to remind everybody in terms of the teams is this, and I think Vincey alluded to it. A lot of these teams, guys, are facing intangibles, and also on the negative trend as well. So Leeds practically haven't done enough business. Liverpool, I would say Liverpool have done good business. I actually think they've done good business. I think the problem where Liverpool is going to struggle is it's no longer Jurgen Klopp's system. And it's going to be a manager who's going to put his stamp on a team. And there's going to be questions whether that will work or not. Because last year it was just copy and paste. This year, you can't say it's Jurgen Klopp's team because now he's bought players, he's changing the system. So those are two big things for a team. Nobody knows how Liverpool are going to come out and play in a new system with new players. That's just fact. So in the first 2 weeks, they'll have to figure that out before they face Arsenal. Arsenal, yeah, we have got some new players, but they are well drilled. Yeah, I don't expect Arsenal to change much in the way that they play. There might be some tinkering in terms of how we approach the box, in terms of recycling, the boring recycling the ball outside of the box. We're going to see more penetration with the likes of Madueke and Gyökeres, who actually run at defenders, which is what a lot of our players don't do. And that's going to cause defenders to flock to where that pressure is, which opens up sides and holes elsewhere. That's how you break the design of a low block. So Arsenal, really, I don't think are going to be battling. In fact, their improvements are really going to be substantial on the team and how they play. Nottingham Forest, again, haven't really done much business, have they? Man City have done their business early, but then are transitioning from an older team into a younger team. So that has its merits and also has its downfalls. Nobody knows how they're going to come out and play. As Vincey said, it's a dark horse. Newcastle, the situation with Isaac is it beyond repair? We don't know. But what we do know is they're not going to sell him. The player said, if you're not going to sell me, I'm not going to play anyway. That is massive distortion. Like, they missed out on Sesko. You know, they're now talking about, and I know you guys are going to laugh about this, they're now talking about Calvert-Lewin, who's a free agent. Yeah? That ain't going to work. Man can't stay fit for 2 games. But what other choice do they have? They're crapped because of the FFP issues with the new owners having to wait 5 years for that to transition. Isak is a mess, and even if he starts to play, there's no telling where his head's going to be. Vincey, did you want to chime in here and say something?
Yeah, they're getting Ramsey from Villa.
Yeah, they've got him for Jacob Ramsey.
Yeah.
Yep. That's he's attacking midfielder, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tony's favourite, Jacob Ramsey. He loves it.
So that is somewhat going to help them, but he ain't going to do what Isak can do for them. You know, there's very few players that can do what Isak can do for them in terms of how clinical he was. Ollie Watkins is a good shout, but do they have 60 million? If they had the choice, 60 million way up on one hand, Calvert-Lewin on a free on the other.
We go for him at one point.
No,
I think you've also got to look at the fact that Newcastle don't really have that much pull as a club, and Eddie Howe doesn't really have that much pull as a manager. Yeah. So that's why they got turned down by Ekitike, by Sesko, by a whole heap of players, because they just don't want to play for New. Yeah, they may have a load of money, but they just don't want to. Look, they don't even want to give Isak 300 grand. If they would have given him 300 grand, it would have been no situation. But he's on 130 grand, and he's asking for that massive rise, but they don't want to do it.
The problem is, if you think about it, if he does stay at Newcastle, the window is going to close by the game 3, right? Yeah, so there's still a good chance that if he stays, he may actually be on the bench for that by the time we come for that game 6, and if he does come on, he'll still be a handful. So,
but let's not forget though, he's had no pre-season. He didn't go on the tour of Asia. He's not training with the team. You know, so that's going to take at least a good month from when he starts training with the team for him to get back into match fitness. So
that's why we don't know whether Sesko's going to start against Arsenal on Sunday. Yep. And so West Ham done no business. You've lost Kudus. You've lost Mohamed Kudus. You know, he brought in a couple of players, but it's all low key for them. Missing Kudus is, I mean, he was probably their best attacking player, if I'm honest. Antonio, Michael Antonio, the Jamaican centre forward, he's actually going to be joining TNT's pundit group this year, I believe. So, again, no business. Fulham, again, struggling to bring players in. And even if they do bring players in, you're talking about the likes of Zinchenko and Reece Nelson, who was playing for them last year. So, don't see them strengthening. Palace, man. Oh, Palace. Losing so much. They're probably going to lose Mark Gahey to Liverpool. Eze is going to be gone.
Just signed that Italian guy, haven't they? The young 18-year-old.
They have, but Mark Gahey is 38 million, so it's doable. It's definitely doable. I think the only one who's going to stay is Mateta. No one's coming in for him. I think they slapped a silly price on his head, and no one's come calling. But Palace, just if they lose Eze, they're done. Anything on that, Vincey? Since you also follow them?
Yeah, I mean, I think Sar's gonna have a good season for them. I don't know who they're gonna go if they do let Eze go, and I think it's quite late in the window. I mean, me personally, I thought that they probably had a gentleman's agreement that if Eze was going to go, he'll go after the Community Shield, because why would you stop them from having the opportunity of winning another trophy whilst the window is there? So, but with all this now rumours with Spurs, I can understand him wanting. I can understand him going to Spurs.
Champions League. Palace, that's all it is. Champions League.
Well, it's a World Cup season, and if he's not, for him to play his natural position, which isn't left, he will have that opportunity at Spurs. So it's really about what we are selling to Eze, which will determine, and the fee. Because remember, whatever contract he gets now, the chances are he's not going to get another big contract.
Yeah, I agree.
After Arsenal, so Palace are in a strange situation where, okay, the cheaper option is he goes to Arsenal, but can they get somebody to replace him? We don't, as Arsenal fans, we don't want him to go to Spurs and play in that attacking midfield role, because he will cause havoc.
Yeah. I mean, the first 6 games notoriously going to be tough, but I'll finish that up by saying Burnley as well. I mean, promotion club, so that is what that is.
But one of the best defensive. Burnley, one of the best defense last year in the championship.
Yeah, but that's in the championship, isn't it?
Yeah, they played well. They played well. So if they bring that form in, they'll be tricky to.
And so, really, what I'm trying to say is, looking at it, there's a lot of intangibles in that top 10 where you can see Arsenal not having much problems at all if they play their game, if they do their due diligence and turn up. But because it's not as if some of these teams are actually on a high or trending upwards, outside of maybe Liverpool. But we'll have to wait and see. Gary, you got the conch. Talk us through your first 10 games.
All right, so just before I start, there are a few more referee changes and changes within the game. So do you want to hear them first?
Yes, please.
Okay, so we've done the goalkeepers and the 8 seconds. Penalty kicks. If the ball is touched twice, it is a retake if the goal is scored. If the goal is missed, it is just missed.
What?
Referee... Right, so when we saw the I don't know what game it was, where the standing foot slips, you kick the ball onto the standing foot and it goes in. Well, if the goal was disallowed, it was the Champions League, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
it was Julian Alvarez, Atletico versus Real.
Yeah.
So now, if that happens and the goal is scored, the penalty is not excluded, it's retaken. If the player misses, it stays missed. So there's no retake.
I think that happened in the Lioness, the England women.
It did, yeah. You're correct,
yeah. That's right.
Referee interaction. So only the team captains can approach the referee. So
that's always been a rule, bro.
Well, no, now they're hotting up on it. So what they're saying is, if the goalkeeper is the captain, the goalkeeper can nominate another player on his behalf to talk to the referee, so the goalkeeper doesn't have to run down the other end of the field and have the discussion. If the referee is hounded and shown disrespect, he is to issue a yellow card to whoever or numerous players that approach him. The referee will now announce decisions and explain decisions. Everything barring offside. But offsides are now semi-automated. So there should be none of this waiting 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes while they're trying to find the toe now offside. It should automatically be done straight away. And it will show up on the screens in the stadium if a goal has been disallowed. It will have a clip of it, and then you'll see why.
Yeah, that's how it is in the NFL, and that's how it should be over here. It just goes to show how behind we are. Yeah.
There's a focus on simulation. So the referees have been instructed to clamp down on diving and simulation with potential cautions to be shown. If a player goes down holding his face, how many times do we see a player holding his face when he's been touched in the chest? That is now a yellow card offence for simulation and basically cheating.
Wow.
One which may cause a lot of trouble is now they're getting really hot on holding at set pieces. So corners, free kicks into the box, any holding is punishable by a yellow card. They're holding a lot stricter, and penalties given obviously if it's in the area.
Wow.
And then obviously the increased transparency with VAR, which I just explained. The referee will announce to the system through the earpiece to the whole stadium why the decision has been made. Everything but offsides. So that's the major changes that are coming into effect. Whether they'll stay in effect for the whole season, I would like to see them stay in effect, because I don't think it's any point in doing it for 10 games and then forgetting about it. If you're going to do something, implement it properly and stick to it. And let's cut out all this nonsense where 6, 7 players are surrounding the referee all moaning. Let it be respectful, like rugby league. Captain, go talk to the ref and leave it at that.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Gary, talk us through your top 10.
So I was just going to say, I actually had a game the other day that they asked me to ref, and I always make a point of talking to the teams, and then the player was in my ear all the time, and then I just called the captain. I said, mate, have a word with the guy. Next time, he's going to go sin bin. That's it. I don't want to hear from him again. And I didn't hear from him again throughout the game.
Okay.
So the referee set out your stall, keep it up, and it causes, even at grassroots, if they don't see it happening at Premier League level, it then doesn't happen at grassroots. It does filter all the way down.
Good. Excellent.
You've
got the conch.
Right, so Man United first game of the season. Much like you, Apollo, I was a little bit concerned by our form in pre-season. Yes, I know it's only pre-season, and you shouldn't really read too much into it, but we looked way off the pace fitness-wise, and we looked performance-wise like we was really, really struggling. And pre-season's where you want to get it all out your system, but into the last game now against the Athletic Club, it was just like, wow, where did this performance come from? It was almost like they was hiding it, and then now we're just going to turn up and show them what we've been working on. We blew Athletic Club away. Gyökeres scored his first goal, and it just all clicked into place. Everybody was playing their part. There was lung busting runs from Ben White. When he come on, and everything just literally looked pitch perfect. So I think United are going to play a low block. They're going to look to hit on the counter attack. So I think if we're mindful of that and we can snuff that out, I think Zubimendi is going to have to have a massive game, keep things ticking over. We saw him against Athletic Club making little tackles, just making things happen all the time.
Yeah,
like
brilliant,
you said,
brilliant.
It was like a hybrid of Thomas Partey, Rodri, and Fabregas.
Yeah,
it was a mental performance. So I think I don't think Sesko will play. I think if Sesko does play, it's going to be out of pure desperation. He's been with the team a week?
No, not even a week, because he signed on Sunday officially, didn't he?
Oh, yeah. So he hasn't been with the team so almost a week. So you're talking literally 6 days. I don't know what his pre-season's been like in Germany or when they came back. So I wouldn't expect him to start. I'd expect him to be on the bench. And I don't think United have got anything to hurt us. And again, if we take chances that we create, like we didn't against them, we could be out of sight. If Gokares literally starts firing straight away, we could be out of sight almost straight away. So I can't see anything other than Garfield tears and 3 points for Arsenal.
Oh, I can't wait till this Sunday, man. Guys, tune in. It's going to be box office. Box office, man.
On to Leeds at home. I don't think Leeds are going to really have anything to offer. And I think first home game of the season, if we get a good result in Man United, I think we take Leeds apart.
That could be ugly, you know, bro. That could be 4, 5, 6, 7. That could be really ugly.
You're right. It could be. And don't forget, listen, even if we don't get the result at Man United, then Leeds could also face the backlash for that.
Yeah.
So either way you look at it, I think it's going to be a resounding 3 points for Arsenal. On to Liverpool away. Liverpool have done some good business. Obviously, it's going to take time for like players like Kirkes and Frimpong to settle in. Crystal Palace kind of had them on the ropes in the Charity Shield or Community Shield, whatever you want to call it. You know, Palace really did tear them apart. And Van Dijk made 2 uncharacteristic mistakes. He gave away the penalty, and he was at fault for the other goal that Palace scored as well. So
yeah, but this is why I said to Neil that Van Dijk and Salah are 33, 34 this season.
Yep. And, you know, he didn't look like the Van Dijk of old. And, you know, when you start getting on in age, I mean, I always remember Martin Keown when he was coming to the end. And he, all of a sudden, it was like an overnight thing where he just looked a shadow of the former player that he was, that recovery pace that he always had. And I see him in one game and he just like, it was time to quit. His legs just went. So I don't think it matters, you know, how much you train. If your time is up at the top flight, your time is up. Salah didn't really get involved in the Community Shield. You know, he was terrible. He missed the penalty. You know, so I think defensively Liverpool are not as strong as they was. Konate's had his head turned by Real Madrid. Whether he stays or whether he goes, he doesn't really want to be there. He wants to be at Madrid. And, you know, Joe Gomez is not all they're cracked up to be. They can't rely on the young 18-year-old that they've just signed from Italy. Robertson, again, is another one that looks like his legs are gone. Trent's already in Spain. So Frimpong is another Trent. He's great going forward, but he can't defend. You know, Leverkusen played him as an actual winger. They took him out of the right back slot and played him as a winger. You know, McAllister struggled with injury, just coming back from injury, so he's not going to be fully match sharp. So the 3 points are there for the taking, but it's at Anfield, isn't it? And Anfield's always a tricky place to go. So that's why I've gone for a draw in that game.
Remember, we went there with injuries and no striker and still had a 2-2 draw on the back end of last season.
Yeah, I say it's always difficult at Anfield, but there's no reason that we can't win, but it's just getting it done. If we get it done, we get it done. But I just, you know, it's just one of them things that you can't really predict. You got to sort of. I don't think we'll lose, but I just think we'll draw.
Yeah.
Forest at home. I'm not aware of Forest doing any business, and they've obviously lost Elanga, who was a major player for them on the counter attack.
Yeah.
So Forest could struggle that way, not being able to break so quick because they'd only have what's his name, Hudson-Odoi, the other winger. So I think we can turn over Forest at home, and then Man City come to town. Very much like Vincey, I think Reinders is a fantastic player from midfield. He's a proper goal scorer. He runs late into the box. You know, he can shoot, he can head, he can finish if he gets the opportunities. So I think that will be a tough game. But I think if we've got our towels up and we've done well in the previous 4 games, I think there's no reason why we can't turn City over, especially if Gyökeres starts firing almost straight away. So I went for a win against Man City. And then we go away to Newcastle. Now, obviously, they've got the famous bully Joe Linton, who likes to go around smacking up 15-year-old kids because they nutmegged him. You know, but Newcastle is a tough place to go.
Omar Hutchinson signed from Ipswich, 37 million.
For who?
For Forest,
For who?
I believe. Yeah, Forest.
Oh, yeah, I'm not worried about Omari Hutchinson. Not worried about him. He flatters to deceive.
I think we earned a bit from that as well, didn't we?
Oh, Forest have also signed James McAtee from Man City.
Never heard of her.
I think he's one of their youth players. I said James, not Jenny. He's Man City youth player. But you know, I think we know what we're going to get from Newcastle. They're going to sit deep. You know, they're going to try and frustrate. They're going to try and hit on the counter. They've got Alanga, super fast. They've got Harvey Barnes playing, but they're not going to have this Alexander Isak. I don't think he'll be involved. I
think that's the game where your midfield has got to have Moreno in it. Whether you rest Odegaard, whether you rest Zubimendi, you have to have a midfield of Rice, Moreno, and Havertz, because you want guys big enough to beat the crap out of them. I don't want any excuses, and this is really down to Mikel's tactics. So you got to know when you play Newcastle away, they're going to be physical. So set your team up where you ain't going to take any of that.
I can't see him doing that, Apollo. Can you see him doing that? I can't.
Yeah, I can.
I think he's going to stick with the same trident. Havertz might come in as the left 8 and the double pivot, but I can't even see that happening, to be honest. I think Odegaard's going to start basically every game, as is Saka, and the rest may rotate a little bit from there. But I think I would go to Newcastle and pack it full, like you say, but I just can't see Arteta doing that. And I think,
guys, I just want to hold on a second. Tony has joined the stream. I just want us to give him a clap and congratulations from everybody.
Congratulations on your nuptials, Mr. Cox.
Yep. Just big shout out to my general, Tony, man. Big up to you, Tony. Right, carry on, Gary.
Yeah, so I've gone for a draw away at Newcastle.
Yeah.
On to West Ham at home. Again, you know, West Ham have become a bit of a bogey team. And I think it's more due to the fact that we haven't taken chances we've created to put them down before they've hit us. So again, with Gyökeres signing, Madueke, we've got tools to hurt these low block teams. And we've got a striker that knows how to move in the box. You know, there was a clip of his goal against Athletic Club where just before Zubimendi crossed it, he see that he was going to cross it, and the movement. And how many times have you heard me say, why doesn't Havertz get in front of that defender? Yeah. He's always here, Havertz, never there. And Gyökeres made the run across the defender, gets the header, and he scored a goal. And sometimes that's all it takes, the movement, the savvy, to know where to move, when to move, and just create that split second across the defender. They can't defend it. And if you get it on target, probably 8 times out of 10, it's going to end up in a goal. So I think we beat West Ham, and we beat them comfortably. Fulham away, I really like Fulham. I think Marco Silva's got them playing some really good stuff. They're very hard to beat. But again, they haven't really signed anyone that I'm aware of. They're basically Arsenal reserves. You know, Leno, Nelson they want, Zinchenko they want. They've already got Iwobi. Willian's there, I think, still. So I think we can go to Fulham, and although it's a tough London derby, I think we can beat them. I think we're more than capable of beating them. And then on to Palace. Obviously, if they lose Gahey and Eze before the window shuts, I think
they're
that's going
done,
to kind
bro.
of rip the heart.
Stick a fork in them. They're done.
Yeah, I think that's
Vincey
going to rip
couldn't
the
even
heart out
save
of them.
them.
I think that will kill them. But obviously, they know how to set up. This Glasner's a shrewd manager, so it will be a tough encounter. But normally we do Palace at home. So I've gone for 3 points, and then Burnley away. I can't see nothing but 3 points, to be honest. So I think I've got us down as only dropping 2 points in 2 tough away games, and I think the rest are all winnable. I think a lot's going to depend on Zubamendi, Gyökeres hitting the ground running, Saka creating, and maybe Madueke on the left. I would go with him over Martinelli. Sorry, Vincey. I know Martinelli's your boy, but I just think the time's come for he needs to kick up the arse to be dropped and really get his game back to where we thought it was going to be a couple of seasons ago.
Yeah, I told you guys my view on that last week. I said start Martinelli against United and Leeds, and then see where his performances are for the Liverpool game. Let him earn his keep. Give him a chance to fail, because he deserves that. You know, he's been the stud player there for the last 3 or 4 seasons. The last person he battled for that position was Trossard and Smith Rowe. And I actually thought Trossard was a better option, even though it was half of one and dozen of the other, wasn't it? It was, nobody really shined in that role. But I think...
Let's not forget that Gyökeres does like to pull out to the left channel. We saw it. So if Gyökeres pulls out to the left, that allows Martinelli plenty of room to make the runs with his pace from diagonal to receive a ball from Zubamendi, Rice, or Saka, or Odegaard. Yeah. So that's another. And Martinelli can finish, but I think the thing with Martinelli is
it's the creativity.
I just don't think he's a winger. I just don't think he's a wide man.
I think he would be a better striker. He'd be a better number 9, Martinelli.
Because if he's got no time to think, he just reacts. But when he's out wide, he's head down. He can't see what's going on. He's not aware of people around him. He can't use his left foot for toffee. We never see him cut in and bend one into the far corner. I've never seen him do that.
Yeah.
So maybe he can benefit from Gyökeres pulling out left and leaving space in the middle. Because listen, ultimately, I would love to see Martinelli succeed and go on to reach his potential.
Yeah.
Don't want to see no Arsenal player foul, but for me, you can give him the United and Leeds game, but if he's not showing it, then you've got to sit him on the bench.
Yep, true.
Players need to kick up the arse. They can't be too comfortable.
And I think that's where we are now this year. That's definitely where we are. Nabil hasn't shown up, so I'm going to do his and Neo misses. Nabil's gone a win against United, win against Leeds, draw at Liverpool, win at Forest, draw at City, and then win Newcastle, West Ham, Fulham, Palace. But Nabil's gone draw away at Burnley. Right.
As I'm saying to you guys, it's the thing is, it's easy on paper to look at these teams and say, okay, Arsenal should beat them 3 points. The reality is, when we face these teams, we don't perform that way, and it's putting the tribalism to the side and recognizing, okay, where are the problems that Arsenal face? Okay, low block teams. I can see Arsenal having 90 minutes against low block teams and struggling to score, even with Gyökeres. And it's something that we don't want to see, because we're hoping that the system will be tinkered to allow for the better runs of Martinelli, better runs of Gyökeres, better runs of Madueke, better runs of Saka, because Saka gets very isolated on that right-hand side, and he's shown a few times when he comes in on the left where he's dangerous. So, or coming to the middle, he's dangerous. Odegaard, more in attack. Is Arteta prepared to do that? We haven't seen it on a regular basis. And this is the third installment where teams are going to be putting low blocks against us. So Burnley, they're a tough team. They're going to be a tough team to break down. And we have to get over the hurdle of those low blocks.
Yeah, Tony said there's always that quirky result and that doesn't make sense. West Ham, Fulham, Villa, exactly, which is what we were saying earlier on. 18 is saying, is there any worrying signs for Arsenal this season? You know what? I don't really want to say this because I don't want to put Obia on our season. But towards the end of last season, we were leaking goals from set pieces. I couldn't explain it. I didn't understand it. And then, obviously, in pre-season, we were leaking goals. And so the only thing I can say with that is the Thomas Partey factor. The fact that Thomas Partey, man, boy, that's a figure I think Zubimendi, I'm standing here with my hand on heart, and I'm saying I think Zubimendi will be able to do it. Why? Because it's really weird. Before the last preseason game, we didn't really see much of Odegaard, Rice, and Zubimendi in the midfield. And because of that, they struggled. And there's no disrespect to Norgard. No disrespect to him. He's a good player. But asking to do a single pivot, which we don't see any other teams in the league do. We did it because we had someone special who could pull it off. And Zubimendi has played a few of the single pivot. Now he's come to do it at Arsenal Football Club. That's going to be the biggest pull. If he pulls that off, then they're going to walk this. They're going to walk it this season. Because honestly, on his day, you see what he's done with his team. You see what he's done in the Spain national team. You see what he done in the last game. When Zubimendi is on it, he's unplayable. There's a reason why Liverpool and City went in for him, because they looked at him as a Rodri-type player. Rodri just won the Ballon d'Or. Yeah? The difference is Zubimendi hasn't played with the creme de la creme teams. You know, he's played with a sort of C-list team. And so he hasn't really had this a platform to shine at the highest level. Here at Arsenal could really make him. 25 years old, got all the ability in the world to do everything. And so really that's the only thing that I would say. You know, defensively, how are we going to look after the first 10 games defensively? That's where I'm coming from. Because you know what, guys? And I always tell you, defense wins championships. No matter who you got up front scoring goals. The only reason why Arsenal was still in it last season, because we had no attacking strikers or anything, was because of how good our defense was. And for the second year in a row, we finished with the best defense in the league. That's how you get to be where you are. Otherwise, we would have capitulated last season. We would have finished 5th, 6th, maybe 7th.
Can I just say in answer to that? I'm going to touch a bit more when I do my final league positions and transfer windows. But I think the worrying signs that as fans we've got to keep in mind is we have a lot of players coming back from injury this season. And that's going to be a huge factor that can seriously derail the season as much as it derailed last season, even with the transfers that we've got this year, because we're a first 11 team or 13 at best. Once you push it outside of there, key injuries in certain positions, we will struggle for consistency over a period of time. And remember, there's a new nucleus of players coming in. So there are a lot of variables that we have to carry, much like you're seeing now with Liverpool, where they have older players and they're getting a lot of new players in, but they're champions. So if they can manage to hit the ground running, yeah, but we've got injury problems of last season with how this team plays. So for me, I'm not just going to ignore the fact that we've just got new players and we're not going to have injuries this season. We just don't need to have injuries to key players.
Yeah, yeah. Anything to chime in there?
Sorry, Apollo. I think just touching on that, Vincey, I think if Arteta gets the rotation right and the players get the correct amount of rest and none of this nonsense of Saka starting 38 games and playing 80 plus minutes, Odegaard the same, Havertz, it was Havertz was an injury waiting to happen. We saw him in a game where the guy could not run anymore. He was dead on his feet.
That was in the Champions League.
Yeah, and it was no surprise. Saka, Gabriel, and Havertz all suffered major hamstring injuries through sheer overplay. They was overplayed brutally. Yeah. And that can't happen if you want to win the trophies. You have to keep your best players fit. So, for instance, like a game, I'm going to take Burnley, for instance. Do you need to play Saliba and Gabriel? Could you put Mosquera in? Could you put Calafiori at centre back and Skelly at left back? Can you change it in games for Liverpool, you want your best 11. For Leeds United, are we going to need our best 11? In that kind of context,
guys, you have to remember. You have to remember, for the last 2 years and 4 games, Pep didn't start De Bruyne in the starting 11. He came off the bench. Remember that, guys? Yeah, he came off the bench. And actually, in the first game against us last season, Haaland was on the bench. So you've got to... That's the one thing I like about Pep. He knows how to get the best out of his players in terms of the performance because he doesn't overplay them. It's the one
because they're playing like 24, 26 games a season.
And this is why when we're in a dilemma where we've got to sell well to allow players to come in, but with Gabriel's injury, you've got a ready-made player in Kirill who could start. You don't even need to allow Gabriel to start against United. But if we sell Kirill, we're still short, even though we've got Mosquera. Yeah, Calafiori's not a 38-game player who's going to be playing at centre-back because he also has injuries problems. So to me, there's still some glaring issues there with the team in defence. As good as we are, because we've got players coming back from injury, we've got to be mindful.
Yeah. Well, Ebony, is there anything you're worried about or concerned, Ebony?
I'm hoping that, with the new additions that, we have enough depth in strength or strength in depth, because last season you could see that Saka wanted a rest. Last season, Martinelli wasn't at his best all the time. So it's nice to have that rotation, but then also having a rotation means you have the tactics and you have the know-how to use your rotational players in certain games. And yes, we do want to play our best 11 all the time, but it's about, if you're going to rotate, you have to do it effectively. And I just think that, this is something that Arteta needs to learn to do if he hasn't done it already. I mean, he needs to start doing it now. Because, as I said, he's got his players and, we have to look at the fact that we've got these new additions. We've got this, Gyökeres, who's meant to be a fox in the box. He's the kind of player that wants to be fed. So now that we've got that and we've got some other additions as well, I like to think that, we have enough players to say, all right, we can look at the bench and say, yeah, we've got a bench to be proud of. We can take this player off the bench and take that player off and let that player go and flourish. So I'm just hoping that, when it comes to rotations, they're used effectively and Arteta knows what he's doing, and that those players that are coming in have the ability to do what is necessary.
Yeah, that's a fair shout. Gary, you were saying, Gary?
I can't remember what I said.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, the players coming back from injury. It's only Gabriel, was it not? Because Havertz was obviously back last season, and if you see that the sprint speed that he let off against Athletic Club to score the third goal, I've never seen the guy move like that in my life. It was like watching Usain Bolt.
Yeah.
It was outrageous. But again, echoing exactly what Ebony said. Yes, we've seen Arteta go so far in the rotation period, but now he has to go the full hog, and he has to get it right, because if you lose Saka and you're losing Odegaard for 3, 4, 5 months, you can't afford to be without certain players for a long time. So get it right. Play them in the games where you need them, and in the game. I mean, remember the game, Apollo, where we was winning 3-0, and then you brought Saka on for like 20 minutes at the end when he didn't even need to get off the seat.
Yeah,
you don't need to do that. Keep the players fresh and play them in the games where you need them, where they can do the most damage against the Liverpool, the Cities, Chelsea, Spurs, these type of teams. And for the sort of the non-runners, play the so-called weaker team, but there shouldn't be a drop-off. With the players we signed, there shouldn't be a drop-off now. You've got Norgard that can come in to replace Zubamendi or Rice. You've got Mosquera, you've got Kivior, you've got Skelly, Calafiore, left back. You've got White, Timber, right back.
Here's the team, Gary. Here's the reserve team. Kepa, Calafiore, Kivior, White, Norgard, Mosquera. Sorry, I forgot to add in Mosquera there. Lokonga, Wanyeri, Moreno, Madueke, Havertz, and Trossard.
That's it. I mean, if that team there can't get past the Leeds or a Burnley or whoever else has come up, Sheffield United or whoever it is, don't deserve to be wearing an Arsenal shirt.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Get it right, and we go a long way.
That's a good shout. Right, so I was finishing up on Nabil. He's gone for 24 points. He's gone with Neomis. This is Neomis now. Win against City, win against Leeds, a loss against Liverpool. So he's the only one out of all of us that said we're going to lose one of our first 10 games. A win against Forest, a draw against City, and then Newcastle, West Ham, Fulham, Crystal Palace, and Burnley all wins. So Neomis is 25 out of a possible 30 points. Myself, I've gone for a draw at United. We never have any good luck at Old Trafford. If we win, I'll be so happy, because we just struggled to get results there. We were talking about the game at the Emirates on the back end of last year when we had 18 shots. Havertz had 6 of those shots, and we hit the bar. We did everything not to win, to score. It was laughable, really. If any game was there to tell us about our mistake of not buying a striker last season, it was the Man United game. We were so bad, and United were cheering like it was the best result ever. I mean, you could see what that meant to them. So really, that says more about us than it does about them. And I think that we won't have those problems considering who we have playing for us now. But either way, I would rather tippy-toe into that one and hope for a win on Sunday. Leeds win, again, promotional team. We was the will against theirs. Liverpool, I went for a draw, but I could easily see us winning there because it's just been a long time coming. I made a point to talk about they had a full team out against us when we went in there with a buckled midfield and no striker, and actually Moreno scored in that game, funny enough. Just ended up with a 2-2 result. And just goes to show the quality in Arsenal's team and the coaching, the way Arteta sets the team up, against City and Liverpool. They can't beat us. That's just where we are. Forest, I've given a win. Man City at home, that's a win. City are going to have to come out and prove to us that they can beat us because they haven't been able to in the last 3 years.
And don't forget with City, Rodri's struggling for fitness, isn't he? He's not ready till September.
And there's no telling what's going to happen. If they lose him again, there's no saying how fit he's going to come out this season. So surely they're going to try and protect him. But he's another one. I don't know how old he is. I think he's 28 or 29. Newcastle, I've given that a draw, but I remember us going up there 2 years ago and beating them 2-0 at their place. And it was one of the best man-managed games Arteta has ever done. Tactically, man management, he got it spot on. And Eddie Howe, after the game, came on the cameras and said we couldn't get anywhere near him. And this was just 2 seasons ago. He said, we could not get anywhere. We couldn't touch them. The ball was moving so fast. They were elite. That's what we need to get back to against Newcastle. And then obviously West Ham, Fulham, Crystal Palace, and Burnley, I've gone for wins. So I've gone for 24 out of a possible 30 points. In terms of, let me take this off. In terms of final league positions, Vincey, talk to me. Final league positions, where do you see them in, and obviously grade R transfer window?
It's hard.
It is. But before you say that, Vincey, let me tell you why I've gone first. 2 weeks ago, we had the Premier League show, and I said to them, like, when they were talking about all of their teams and Liverpool being the favourites and everything, I basically spelled it out for them. Firstly, I said Liverpool won that title with 84 points. It wasn't a great total. They've come second before with 97 points. I think that 90 points, 91 points will probably win you the title this season. But the difference in Arsenal is that we drew 11 games. Sorry, we drew 14 games. That is nuts. 14 draws out of 38 games. And that was mainly because we didn't have a striker, we just couldn't finish games off. That's it. If you got over the line in half of those games, so turn 7 draws into wins, that's 14 points. That would have been good enough, even if Liverpool didn't sort of tail off. That would have been good enough to beat Liverpool for the title last season. So that was a team that was broken. This is essentially going to be an improvement on that team. So there is a world, Vincey, where I can see Arsenal easily challenging Liverpool and beating them for the title. It's those draws, man. Those 14 draws just stick in my head, and the screws turning like the drill. And that is the ineptness of not getting a striker to get you over the line. That was a result of it. Drawing 14 games was just too much.
We only scored 64 goals last year, didn't we? Compared to 91 the season before.
Yeah.
Obviously, that was down to injuries, but there's no really excuse because you shouldn't have left yourself that short. And when you knew you was that short in January, you should have addressed the problem.
Yeah.
It's a situation where, as an Arsenal fan, I look at the team and I say, I think they can do better than they actually do each season. And I asked the question, well, why didn't the manager do certain things in the past 3 years? So I'm now in this situation and saying, okay, it's still a great opportunity for Arsenal to win the league with a striker, because we haven't had a striker since Aubameyang. So he's been prepared to go in a league campaign without a striker, and we've got second. But is he prepared to make those changes in the style of football that's going to allow that striker to be proficient in what he's did down in Sporting? I haven't seen enough. I haven't seen enough.
The thing is there, mate. The thing is there, and I discussed this with Apollo while we was covering the Athletic Club game. As much as we have to bend for Gyökeres has to bend for us, so we meet in the middle. So we can play to his strengths, and he can also play to our strengths. So if he wants to put out to the left, and we can play that ball over the top, he's got superb speed and strength. He's going to cause problems. He can hold up the plate. He can link up the plate, allowing others to run in behind. Yeah, that's got to be a factor. You can't just have if he drops and holds the ball and plays little 1-2s with Odegaard or Rice or whoever, someone has to take the focal point and become him. So against Athletic Club, we saw him pull out, the ball played over the top, and Martinelli and Saka both arrived at the ball at the same time to score the second goal. So,
but we don't see that often. We don't see that often enough.
We don't. But what it does show you is that if Gyökeres drops deep or pulls out wide, these two guys are prepared to run in behind. So already we're seeing a transition of a style of play that we don't normally see. So yes, we've accommodated Gyökeres, and we know that if he goes here and takes the defender there, the space is behind. Let's play that ball over the top, get Martinelli and Saka after it, and that's what we saw for the second goal against Athletic Club. Also, Rice can also get there and do that. So it has to be a meeting of the minds. Gyökeres comes to us, we go to him, but we meet 50-50 in the middle. So we've already seen it kind of happen.
But this is,
as the season goes on, it will get better and better. It has to.
It needs to, because this is what we've always said, is that movement in that you cannot do this sideways and expecting that low. It's just nonsense. It doesn't work, and it's wasting the opportunity and the talent that we have in the team. The moment you start doing those triangles, you have players who are willing to see the runs. Zubimendi getting that ball over, as you say, and the runners. We will go back to the season when we were scoring those goals, and we just missed out on the league. So this is why I would love Arsenal to finish first. I think it's a great opportunity. I think if Mikel has shown me enough that he was prepared to alter, even with the players that we had last season, the style of football that we had, I would say Arsenal will finish first. That's why I'm going for them to finish second. But he's got the perfect opportunity, because, again, teams will sit back. And what you don't want is to get in a situation where we're always chasing the game, because Arsenal are a different team under pressure. We don't want them to be under pressure all season. The pressure's already there. The fans are going to go crazy. If, you draw the first game, they're going to lose their minds. You lose a game, they're going to lose their minds, because they're so hungry for success. The pressure's already there. So this is what I'm saying, is the players are going to need to be in a situation where they have a little understanding and chemistry going on, be prepared to change it up. And it's encouraging to see those two players in that situation, Martinelli and Saka there. But those other players, other than Gyökeres, have to be able to finish as well. Because what we don't want to be doing is watching games and saying, a great movement by Gyökeres, but we wish he was at the end of that move to put the ball in the back of the net. So the other players are going to need to chip in with goals.
I think that's going to surprise you. And I've said it to Gary twice. I've said, Gary, people talk about the goals, but they don't talk about his creativity. Watch Gyökeres as a creative player. When he drifts, when he plays balls through into the box, he is really adapting his creative games. And I think that's going to surprise people. I really do think that's going to be a big shock. How hard he works in the final third, how hard he presses, how well he tackles. We already used to seeing that with Kai Havertz. But you've got the full package. This guy has got an axe to grind, with the English leagues. They gave up on him. Nobody gave this guy a chance. He's coming here with an attitude. And Ian Wright came in at 28 years old and showed what he's true. He was a late bloomer, showed what he was all about. This guy just turned 27 last month. He's got a lot to give, and he's got, as I said, he's got a chip on his shoulder. He's got a problem with the people who gave up on him, and he's going to want to prove that he belongs in this league. And so this is Gyökeres' coming out party. Yeah.
So let's not forget. There's a major difference between playing for Coventry and playing for Arsenal.
Oh, but he got them promoted. He got them promoted anyway.
In the Premier League, they say that he flopped, but there's a major difference between playing for Coventry and playing in this Arsenal team.
Yeah, and look, there's nothing wrong with being a late bloomer. Jamie Vardy was a late bloomer. We see them all the time. Late bloomers happen in the game. There's nothing wrong with it. The key about it is identifying that person should be playing at the top level. That's the key. If you don't,
for me, he was the only option at centre forward. I know we may be looking at this Sesko, but we're not in a position where you can take someone who has potential. You need the ready-made article, ready to go. And for me, this guy is going to hold the key. I don't think, and I said this during the commentary, Apollo, didn't I? I don't think Havertz scores that goal against Athletic Club because Havertz doesn't have the instinct to get across the defender. I've been screaming for 2 seasons, get across that front man like Giroud used to do. Giroud was a master at getting across the defender with a toe, with a knee, with a head, with a chest, any part of his body he could, because that's where you score goals.
So, Gary, where are we going to finish then?
I think we're going to win it.
Yeah,
I think we're going to win it, and I think Gyökeres will be unstoppable. Madueke will do well. Saka will hit 15 plus. Odegaard will hit 10 plus.
Yeah.
Rice will chip in, and I just think we'll be too good. We'll be blowing teams away.
Yeah. What about you, Ebony? I think Ebony's on mute.
I think Ebony's asleep.
No, Ebony's fine. I just saw, she's on mute. You're on mute, Ebony. Where are we going to finish in the league?
Yeah, right. What was the question?
Where are we going to finish in the league?
I would look. I like to think that we're finishing first. I think we're going to finish first. I want us to finish first, but the problem is that we say this every single season. We need to be more clinical. It is the only way that we can win games is to be more clinical. Yes, defenders will win you games, but at the end of the day, if the ball isn't hitting the back of the net, then our defending is out of the equation.
Yeah.
And I will say again, Arteta, he has his players now. He's got no excuse. The players have got no excuse. The players have enough. The team has enough players for rotation. We came second 3 seasons in a row. Not good enough. It's not a trophy. We almost had it when we were however many points. I think it was 12 points at one stage, and then Man City came and clipped us at the lastminute.com thing. So and we could have won it last season. We could have won it last season had we not lost against West Ham and teams like Newcastle and all the rest of it. Then we could have been winning last season. But the fact is, we've not been clinical enough, and and there were too many times when we were doing backwards, sideways, backwards, and it's like no, we can't be doing that now. So I'm trying to be optimistic here and saying that we're going to finish first.
Yeah, the difference is, Ebony, is we've got this guy playing up front for us.
It's been a disaster.
Yeah, Ebony, the difference is we've got this guy playing up front for us.
Yeah.
We've got a Terminator T1000 playing up front with us.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Well, I need to see him play. I need to see him play more. Okay, because I don't do the YouTube crap. I'm sorry. I just don't do YouTube. Well, I do YouTube. I just don't do YouTube when it comes to players, because it's all about what you do in a season and it's how you hold up. So
statistically, he's been the hottest striker in Europe for the last 2 years. 97 goals in 102 games.
Yeah, but can he do it in the Premier League? Because the Premier League
is what we're going to find out.
Is a lot more physical than any other league. Exactly.
It is, but also the equation is he scored 7 goals in the Champions League as well last season against the best. That's the creme de la creme. That's the best teams.
I think this guy's built for the physical game.
Yeah, but the difference is that he might be, but at the end of the day, can he do over 38 games? And the Premier League is a league where anyone can beat anyone.
Yeah.
So, I need the proof of the pudding is in the Premier League. Yes, the Champions League, you can get anybody. But at the same time, the Premier League, you're going to get the same teams twice every season. And I need to know how physical he can be against the more physical players in the Premier League, because we have some physical players in the Premier League. That's where it's going to be. That's where it's at for me. The transfer window, I'm giving it a 7. And I'm only giving it a 7 simply because I need to know as a fan, because I've been disappointed as a fan for the past 4 seasons now. I need to know whether I think my
yeah, your internet's slowing a little bit.
The reason
it seems like it's okay now.
All right, hopefully you can hear me. The only reason why I'm giving it a 7 is simply because I need to know how these new recruits perform. And I know people are looking at these players thinking, yeah, all right, they've been great with their respective former teams. That's all good. But I need to see the proof of the pudding. And until I see some results, until I see how they move, until I see how they run off the ball, until I see their movement off the ball, how they move, how they intercept, I'm keeping it as a 7.
For me, guys, I'm doing the transfer window as a 9, and the reason is for 2 reasons. Number one is because of the squad. This is the backup players which I showed you before, and that team. I mean, could you imagine that's your bench? Kepa started all against Bournemouth last season, a team that was chasing for a European place. Calafiori, 40 million buy, Italian international. Kivior, what a star when he came in and replaced Gabriel last season. Ben White, 3-4 year starter for Arsenal. Norgard, Brentford's captain. Lokonga will be sold, so let's not worry about him. Wenyeri, upcoming star from Hayland. Moreno, international winner, quality player, led Europe in duels before we bought him. Madueke, 23 years old, one of the hottest young talents in the league. Havertz and Trossard, that is your backup. But guys, we've got 9 defenders on our books. We've got Saliba, Mosquera, Gabriel, White, Timber, Kivior, Calafiori, Zinchenko, Luskeli. We've got 9 defenders on our books. Yeah? Let that sink in. Our midfield, guys, is Norgard, Odegaard, Wenyeri, Moreno, Rice, Zumbamendi. That's our midfield. And then our forwards is Saka, Jesus, Martinelli, Gyökeres, Madueke, Trossard, Havertz. That's depth, guys. That's why I think we're going to finish first.
I tell you, who haven't mentioned. None of us have mentioned Max Dowman.
Yeah. I mean, he's only just been officially listed today, I believe.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I was.
Yeah. That's insane depth, guys. That's insane. I've been an Arsenal fan since 78, and we've never had this kind of quality and depth before. Never. Not once.
Well, surely the Invincibles must have had some proper depth in that team, no?
Not necessarily, because if you looked at sort of the 2 biggest depth players in that team was Edu and Wiltord, practically, and Ray Parler. Yeah, those were the sort of the 3 that came in and kind of mixed it up. But outside of that, it was notoriously the starting 11 that was bulletproof. They didn't get injured, didn't get hurt. They made a run of it, and the other guys I mentioned chipped in when needed. But the actual depth.
We had the great Philip Senderos.
As I said, in terms of the depth, it wasn't as good as what we've got here.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's interesting you say the Invincibles, because our starting 11, is better than the starting 11. Yeah, so you got a base level, you got a level playing field that is highly better. So if you were to take the depth that we have here, they still wouldn't start, or they still wouldn't get a game, possibly even in that Invincible team. so it's I think there's levels, and again we're talking about years of experience and understanding the way how Wenger played and the way how the football was played. We going into a new period now with Arteta, and we don't know. We're hoping and we're expecting and desperately needing, but we don't know. And so it's a great opportunity. I mean, you know, Max Diamond, fans are excited, Gary, to see Max Diamond do what he does even on the right. So you stop and you think we have Saka playing on the left, on the right, doing what he does, but we're still excited to see what Max Diamond has done in pre-season. And we have to be cautious in not giving him too many minutes too early, but that excitement alone is what the team needs. So whether it's Martinelli regaining his form and doing what he did when he scored 15 goals, joint top goal scorer with Odegaard, we need that. Whether it's not Madueke coming on and doing the glimpses that he showed at Chelsea last season, we need it. But either way, we need that excitement of players getting us off our chairs, our sofas, our seats, and we got that with Gyökeres, but we need that from other players in midfield.
Yeah, before I go to Gary, I just want to answer Emerson's question. I don't think he's going to start in 2025. I think when he gets 16, and we have situations where we're 3-0 up or whatever, or 2-0 up or whatever, I think obviously he'll do a lot of bench stuff, come off the bench. But I think it has to be deep into the season where he starts. I really do. I just, and I don't know what's inside Mikel's head. He obviously knows how good a player he is, but he knew that with Wanyeri. And what happened? He let Wanyeri go and do his stuff in the youth team. So no player's head is too big. And I think that there's going to be a level of the first half of the season where he's going to be in the under-21s. May appear a couple of subs games or cup games for Arsenal. But I think when you get deeper into the season, it's possible. There's a lot. I'd say it's only a 10-15% chance that he will start. So it's possible, but unlikely. It is the fairest way for me to say that. It's possible, but unlikely. If you look at Ethan Wanyeri last season, if it wasn't for Saka, if it wasn't for the injuries, he probably wouldn't have started. He would have just continually come in and featured as a sub in many ways. He wouldn't have strung him out, because I warned everybody about the age. No, Apollo, play him. Played him, and then what happened? Wanyeri got injured twice. So that just goes to show how the levels are. When you get to this level, you got to usher them in. Otherwise, you can break them. So with a fully fit squad, I don't see Dauman starting. I'd give it 10-15% of chances. And who knows? If we get to the end of the season and Arsenal are like 8-10 points adrift at the top of the table, then they'll probably would do something like that. But, you know, it's going to be situational. Gary? Where are we going to finish?
I think we're going to finish first. And I'm giving the transfer window a very solid 9. If we complete a deal for Eze, I'm going to give it an 11. Wow. If we bring in a left winger, I'm going to give it a 15 out of 10 as well. I just think we strengthened all over the pitch. But it's up to Arteta again. I reiterate, it's up to Arteta to. I mean, you can have all the best players in the world, but if you ain't going to play them, what's the point? If you're going to stick with the same 11 and play them and play them and play them and play them, what's the point of having all these players? You've got to get it right, and you've got to give them the rest that they need to stay fresh and fit throughout the season. So I think if we keep everyone fit, Gyökeres hits the ground running, I think we'll win it. And I think we will see Max Diamond at some point this year. And then I think he'll be more of a regular once he turns 16. I think this kid is double special. I think we all thought Wanyeri was a brilliant youngster. I think this kid Dowman, I think he's going to be even better.
Yeah, different level, man. Different level.
And I think that's got a lot to do with what he done in pre-season as well. If he would have come in pre-season and not had any effect, I think it would have been, yes, we can see your potential. Go play with the under 80s or go to the under 21s. But coming in pre-season, taking that whack off Joe Linton, bloody nose, get up, I don't care. You can't hurt me. Goes and wins a penalty, gets us back in the game. Done the same thing against Athletic Club. So the kid has shown he's got a bit about him, and I think we'll see him at some point this year.
Excellent. Is there any more final comments from you guys before we close up for tonight?
No, I'm good.
No, just congratulations on your 7 years of
yeah, man, I can't believe it.
The family. It's,
well done,
it's
my
not
friend.
an easy
Well done.
feat.
Yes, congratulations.
Excellent. I couldn't have done it without
continue.
you guys, man. Couldn't have done it without the support
I
from
would
you
say, I would say that for closing for today until Sunday, perhaps, that second place is not good enough.
Yeah, everyone agrees,
and it's time now. It's Arteta's got to come up with. It's not just Arteta; it's the players as well. But it does ultimately fall down on Arteta's shoulders, that he has to be the one to go out there and send his team out with the correct equipment, if you like. So I don't want to hear about second place at the end of the season.
Well, I think for me, Arteta's got to win a trophy. He's got to win a trophy this season, whether it's the Carabao, the FA Cup,
Champions League,
the League, the Champions League, whatever it is.
Champions League.
He's got to find a way to win some silverware.
I'll tell you one thing. I think the fans need to be entertained. The finishing second isn't entertaining, and I think the style of how he transforms Arsenal now with a striker that a lot of fans have been desperately asking for will go a long way to cementing or changing the way how Arsenal fans feel about Arteta and the team right now. Because we're primed to go on and kick on, and I think we're in as good a position this year as we were last year.
Yeah, this is a team built to win the league. I agree.
So we're in as good as an opportunity. But again, if we start to see stagnation in this season, which is inevitably it can do, because we've got a nucleus of players who are new. So we are asking a lot because we've been starved for so long. But he has to make that change, because we're asking him to win the Champions League that the great Arsene Wenger missed out on.
Yeah,
on several occasions, whether we didn't get to the final once, semi-finals, quarterfinals. He's had players who had better players than what we've had now. So
our European record's trash, man.
Right. So those are the things where smarts are smart. It's not being if Odegaard, if we get an Eze and Odegaard's off form, be prepared to have Eze play that 10. Don't just be shoehorning players into a position and letting them figure it out, because the club needs trophies.
Yes.
And now is the time.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. And I will try and ruffle something up for you guys tomorrow in terms of a preview. It won't probably live. I'll do it and edit it and send it out for everybody, because I'm just so busy. I've got grandkids tomorrow at Thorpe Park, and then I've got family barbecue on Saturday, and then it's going to be back with us on Sunday for the game, and I can't wait. I'm really excited, man. Aren't you guys excited? Season starts. Let's go.
I'll get excited. I'll save my excitement for Sunday morning.
Never excited against Man United. It's a fixture.
If I didn't have to go Thorpe Park tomorrow, I would have actually streamed the Liverpool game tomorrow, just because I'm so excited to have football back. Yeah, Emerson says at the under 21s tomorrow. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to make it back from Thorpe Park to join you, but I'll message you. I'll let you know. Yeah, I'll message you because I don't know what Gary's doing.
Not fishing.
Yeah, I don't know what Gary's doing.
I'm not fishing. I might go fishing one day. You get a rod, Apollo. Come fishing. I'll teach you how to fish.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I've never been, so I'll definitely be up for it. I started fishing many years ago, and I never thought I'd like it, but the peace and the tranquility can't beat it. That sounds like me. I'm a Piscean, man. That sounds like me. I love that, man. I love it.
You can't beat it.
I owe it to my brother as well. May he rest in peace. I owe it to Raymond. All right, guys. All the best, man. Speak to you guys soon.
See you later, guys.